This is Andrea, and I'm going to do a review today of Hearts in Atlantis by Stephen King. It should be a spoiler-free review. I have just finished reading the book, and I really wanted to talk about it. Now, I haven't seen the movie, which this photo is from the movie. But from what I can see from this picture from the movie, this is from near the beginning of the book. This is an interesting. This book is written in an interesting way. There's like 4 stories in it, but they're not short stories. They're all interconnected. There's one character that's either in each of the stories, or they know the person, so everybody knows. It's kind of like a 6 degrees of separation thing. Like, there's one character that she's in the first story, and I think she's in the second story too, but then in the third story people know her. It's I don't know how to describe it, okay? There was a lot in this book that has me thinking. I can't stop thinking about it, and to me that's something that I really like in a book, if it keeps my mind going. This isn't a horror story. It does have a little bit of supernatural stuff, just very little. It's mostly about, it's set in the 60s, the 1960s, during the time of the Vietnam War, so a lot of that comes into play. I found, well, a couple of things in here that I found interesting. I found the beginning of the book, it seemed like there was a lot that had to do with touch, good touch, bad touch, how people interpret touching, if touching is healing or touching is hurting or communicating, or, maybe that was just my view of it. But most of the rest of the book, because usually in the beginning of the book it's the setup, most of the rest of the book, to me, had a lot to do with guilt, how individual people deal with the guilt that they feel, why they feel guilty about different things. Yeah, how they deal with that guilt, how it affects their lives, and it really gave me a lot to think about, like I said. I would read this book again. Like, I'm still trying to, there's stuff I'm still trying to put together in my head. Not that anything was confusing, but you see little parts of something in one place and you know it ties to something else, and there's like a genius to this book that I can't put my finger on, okay? Something I like about Stephen King's writing is that he likes to try different things, He's tried writing chapters at a time and getting people's input, like he did that with The Green Mile. He's tried, he was one of the first large authors to do an ebook. He tries different styles of writing. He's just always experimenting, and I found this to be a really interesting experiment. Now, when I got to the second part of the book, at first I was confused because it was written from a different person's perspective, and I couldn't tell how it fit with the first part of the story. And then as I was about 10 or so pages in, I started to understand what was going on. So it didn't take too long to figure that out, and I really enjoyed it. I feel bad because I feel like there's more I want to say, but what can I say without spoiling the book? It has a lot of things to say about the 60s, and from every possible different point of view. It's more like an experience than anything else. I really enjoyed the college sections, it captured for me, obviously I wasn't in college in the 60s, I was in college in the late 80s, but it did capture for me that feeling of like you're in a strange new world and you're kind of lonely and you don't know exactly where you fit in and how do you balance different things in your life, and just that kind of strange land that you're in when you go to college. So that really rung true for me. So if you've read this book, I would love to know your thoughts on it. I don't know if I want to see the movie or not, because my husband's seen the movie, but he hasn't read the book, and he was like, it's an okay movie. Like, I asked him questions about it that I can't really say without giving stuff away. And he, some of the stuff that's even from the section that the story is apparently taken from for the movie is not some of the parts that are in the book. Like, he didn't remember them being in the movie, so I don't know. Sometimes when you watch a movie and you read a book, it's nice to compare them, but other times it's like, I don't want it to take away from my experience of the book, So, like I said, I recommend it, and I'd be interested in hearing from anyone else who's read it. Well, that's all I have to say. I hope you enjoyed this book review, and I'll see you next time. Bye.